Okay, so we ready to start?
Ready.
Okay, very good. So, again, welcome to the session one of the Amen Whole 4 program. And it's a faith-based program. And so we will start and we will end in prayer. So I will start with a prayer and just start with Heavenly Father. Thank you for bringing us together today. May you help us. May we open up our minds, open up our hearts, help us have a nourishing conversation in that we can just share, learn, and move forward with our lives and hopefully in a uh, improved, better way. And hopefully we'll get some inspiration from this. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so what we'll do today, I'm just going to do kind of a recap. Last week we saw the first 12 minutes of a video, and I'm not going to show that again. We're going to show start where we left off. But we talked about the brain is designed to change. We talked about plasticity, and these things. You have these materials in um, on your portal. Has is everyone able to access the course content?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, someone was having trouble. So last week we talked about the four areas of health that, the brain, body, the mind, our psychological, the relationships and spirits. And so but the breakthrough, he has these breakthroughs throughout the video. Basically, he's saying that a lot of the health issues we have are really they're all interrelated, and we can really, I mean, we've got our healthcare system is something that is kind of aimed toward um, uh, helping you when everything breaks, when things collapse. And by following this whole four process, hopefully we can avoid the collapse and avoid the breakdowns. So anyway, and he'll be talking some more about tiny habits. That's going to be throughout this whole program. We'll be talking about the four areas of spirit, brain, body, mind, relationships, but we'll also be talking about tiny habits. So now I'm going to play the video.
Now, let's talk about dedicating your body to God. Getting healthy is, in fact, worship. So I think of this as a spiritual strategy, but you'll find it also works to optimize your physical health, your mental health, your relationship health. And this program is anchored specifically in Romans 12:1 and 2. So Romans 12:1, in view of God's mercy,
Mike, do you have it on
offer
the
your
fast
bodies as living
speed?
sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. That is
Oh,
your
well, let
true
me
and
see.
proper worship. Getting
Yeah,
healthy
I'm
is
sorry. It
worship.
just sounds like a
Romans
little
12.
jumpy. Can you put it at normal speed?
Let's see. I will see what I've got it on.
Yeah, it's going a
I,
little fast.
okay.
Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
just
pointing
the
that out.
normal talking speed.
Okay. That will be. You want
And,
me to back it
and can
up?
we back it up? Yes, please.
Yeah, can I say one thing real quick, Mike? I know Laura's on the call. Hi, Laura, Matthew. She wasn't on there last week.
Hi.
Would any of y'all be opposed to just starting from the very beginning again? Yay or nay?
Um, well, if they're not, well, I guess there's no nay, so we'll start at the beginning.
Okay, that'd be great. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. Well, you get a bigger vote than everyone else if they don't say anything.
No, I don't.
No, is it going?
So here's the big idea. God designed your brain to change. It's called neuroplasticity. And when most people think of neuroplasticity, they think, oh, that's amazing. That's great. Not so fast. Neuroplasticity goes both ways. Whatever you repeat, your brain hardwires good or bad, habits for health or illness, habits for heaven or hell. Romans 6:16, you become the slave of whatever you choose to obey. This program is designed to help you choose habits that heal. And it's based on 7 powerful breakthroughs. But every lesson is going to start with an anchor story. So the anchor story for this lesson and for the Amen Whole 4 is Daniel's challenge. When Babylon conquered Israel about 605 BC, King Nebuchadnezzar ordered his chief official to bring Israel's smartest young men to serve in his palace, where they would be trained for 3 years. Among them were Daniel and his friends. They were ordered to eat the king's rich food and drink his wine. Daniel refused, not wanting to defile himself, but the chief official became anxious, worried if Daniel and his friends looked weak, he could lose his own head, literally. So Daniel proposed a challenge. This is from Daniel 1, verse 12 to 16. Please test your servants for 10 days. Give us nothing but vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then compare our appearance with that of the young men who eat the royal food, and treat your servants in accordance to what you see. So he agreed to this and tested them for 10 days. At the end of the 10 days, they looked healthier and better nourished than any of the young men who ate the royal food. So the guard took away their choice food and the wine they were to drink and gave them vegetables instead. Here's a lesson. In 10 days, you will look and feel different when you stay faithful to God, make good decisions, and stop doing what everyone else is doing. God will strengthen you and use you for greater good. The reason that I created the Whole 4 is I believe America is in a Whole 4 health crisis. The first one is your brain and body. Alzheimer's is expected to triple in the next 30 years, and there is no cure on the horizon. 50% of the population is diabetic or pre-diabetic. Diabetes is a disaster for the brain. 75% of Americans are overweight or obese. I published 3 studies on 33,000 people that showed as your weight goes up, the actual physical size and function of your brain goes down. And 90% of the healthcare money in the United States is spent on chronic preventable illnesses. So that's the first part of the Whole 4. The second part is your mind. Depression, anxiety, ADHD, autism, and addictions are at epidemic levels. 25% of America's adult population is on psychiatric medication. 57% of teenage girls report being persistently sad, and suicide in the young has gone up since the year 2000. So what happened since 2000? I think cell phones, social media, COVID. So brain, body, mind, relationship. We're more connected than ever, but lonelier than ever, with 58% of people report feelings of loneliness. And if you were lonely as a child, it actually increases your risk of Alzheimer's disease 40%. Social media increases depression, and close friendships are down 40% since 1990. So brain, body, mind, relationships, and spirit. Belief in God is down. And if you don't believe in God, that actually triples your risk of depression. Church attendance is down, and 58% of young people, 18 to 25, report a lack or a sense of meaning and purpose. Brain body crisis, mind crisis, relationship crisis, and spiritual crisis. But I believe the answer to these epidemics, and this is the first breakthrough, I love this so much. The answer to these epidemics, depression, Alzheimer's, obesity, diabetes, loneliness, is not to see them as separate disorders, but as different expressions of the same unhealthy lifestyle and toxic exposures that have exactly the same cure, which starts with individual and national whole 4 programs to get our brains and bodies healthy, to discipline our minds, to reconnect in our relationships, all with a deep sense of meaning and purpose. So what I'm very excited about is to share with you the model that we've been working on for over 40 years. It's called the Amen Whole 4 Healing, where we're going to work on helping you get your brain and body as healthy as they can be. I think of the brain as the hardware of the soul. I'm going to teach you to love and assess your brain, know your important health numbers, which we'll talk about. I'm going to share a strategy with you that is just so helpful. You want to keep your brain healthy, you rescue it. You have to prevent or treat the 11 major risk factors. We're going to talk about it. And it's all based on 2 simple questions. This is question 1. Is what I'm doing now good for my brain or bad for it? And does it honor my creator? So that's the first question. Is what I'm doing now good for my brain or bad for it? And does it honor my creator? The second question is, do I love food that loves me back? You're in a relationship with food, and I don't know how many of you have ever been in a bad relationship. I certainly have. I'm not doing it anymore, and I'm certainly not going to do it with food. I love food that loves me back. Do you? Second part is your mind, which I think of the software of who you are. But if the hardware's not working, the software is going to have big problems. We're going to work on helping you discipline your mind, build positivity, learn to kill the ants, automatic negative thoughts that steal your happiness, heal past trauma. And the 2 questions that you're going to learn for this section is, does it fit? Does my behavior fit the goals I have for my life? We're going to do an exercise together called the 1-page miracle. What do you want? Relationships, work, money, physical, emotional, spiritual health. We're going to help you define what you want, right? Because I can't tell you what you want. But once you know, the question is, does it fit? The other question that I want you to live with, I don't have any tattoos, but if I did, it would be, does it fit and is it true? Whenever you feel sad, mad, nervous, or out of control, write down whatever you're thinking and just ask yourself, is it true? And I'm going to give you a filter to test every thought you have. When it comes to relationships, we're going to talk about prioritizing and enhancing real relationships, not ones on social media. We're going to talk about caution for social media, awareness and limits, escaping toxic societal norms, which so many people are caught up in because of social media, create healing communities. Did you know that if you do this program with a partner, it doubles your success? We're also going to talk about how people are contagious. You become like the people you spend time with. So it's critical to choose wisely. And the question here is, do I notice what I like about others more than what I don't? Every day you are shaping the people in your life by what you notice. You notice what you don't like, you're actually going to get more of what you don't like. And from a spiritual sense, really the question becomes why? Why are you on the planet? I talk about connecting to your faith, knowing your motivation. You are created for a purpose. And I think it's important every day to seek it. Talk about daily prayer and meditation, and give you the neuroscience behind the Lord's Prayer. And we are going to work on training up hope. And the question for this section is, am I living the reason God put me on earth? We are not here by random chance. And so many people go, Raymond, you're a neuroscientist. How can you believe in God? And I always say, well, how can you not? It takes way more faith to believe we are here by random chance. Each of the sessions, we're going to have strategies for each of the whole four. So we'll talk about spiritual strategies, brain and body strategies, mind and relationship strategies. Plus, I am going to give you dozens of tiny habits. What are tiny habits? It's the smallest thing you can do today that will make the biggest difference. So, for example, if you just ask yourself this one question, it takes 3 seconds. What I'm doing now, good for my brain or bad for it, and does it honor my creator? All you have to do is go yes or no. And as we go along, there's going to be a lot more yeses. And I'm going to give you very actionable strategies, the same ones I give my patients, to make it last. So let's talk about dedicating your.
Let's pause for a second. So we covered, that was a lot, but really that was 6 weeks worth of stuff in that introduction. So hopefully you're excited and not intimidated by all that. Any comments? One thing I was thinking about, I'm a fan of a guy named Peter Diamandis, and he has a podcast called Moonshots. And he talks about things like right now is the best time ever to be alive. He has an optimistic view of the future. And he likes to give a quote by Mark Twain: the two most important days of your life. One, the day you were born, and number two, the day you find out why. And so this course should help us all with that. So the next part, we're going to be talking about how it is that taking care of our health is an act of worship.
Body to God. Getting healthy is in fact worship. And so I think of this as a spiritual strategy, but you'll find it also works to optimize your physical health, your mental health, your relationship health. And this program is anchored specifically in Romans 12:1 and 2. So Romans 12:1, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God, that is your true and proper worship. Getting healthy is worship. Romans 12:2, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And most Christians know that verse. It's actually the second part of this verse that I think is so critical, because this is the filter for every thought you have. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. So often with my patients, write down your thoughts. Does this thought fit God's good, perfect, and pleasing will? So Romans 12:2. Let's do a little word study. Living sacrifice. Sacrifice is joined with living, creating a paradox, both alive and offered. Not one time as sacrifices in the Old Testament, but ongoing worship. Transformed from the Greek word metamorpho, same root as metamorphosis, radical inner change, renewing of your mind, complete renovation, aligning us with God's will. Mind, the executive seat. So here it's really talking about the brain, inner control center, moral reasoning, and intention, your brain. So in a historical context, Paul was writing to believers in Rome. The city was overflowing with temples, sacrifice, and conformity to imperial culture. Romans were familiar with offering dead animals to idols or to Caesar. Paul flips the concept. True sacrifice is not death, but a life offered daily to God. Romans were pressed to conform to worldly values. Paul urges Christians not to conform to the world, but to be transformed in Christ's likeness. So breakthrough number one is the answer to these epidemics is not to see them as separate disorders, but different expressions of the same unhealthy lifestyle that have exactly the same cure.
Right.
Breakthrough number two, we get better or sick together. Choose your friends wisely. So the seed of the Amen Whole 4 program actually started at my church in Southern California in the summer of 2010. It was a Sunday morning. I had just finished writing my second book on the connection between physical health and mental health. Change your brain, change your body. And I was so excited. It's a Sunday morning. I finished early in the morning. Then we went to our church. And I just remember that day being so happy. When we got to church, I told my wife, Tana, I said, why don't you drop Chloe, our 6-year-old at the time, off at Children's Church? I'll go save us seats. And as I walked toward the sanctuary on this large campus, I saw hundreds of donuts for sale for charity. And I've been going to church since I was 4 years old. I've always seen the donuts, but that day they made me very upset because I'm going to get my soul fed. These people are trying to kill me. There is not one healthy thing about donuts. And this is a picture. It's the actual picture I took that day of all the donuts for sale. And then right around the corner is bacon and sausage cooking on the grill. And when I saw the donuts, it's like someone slugged me. It's like I'd always seen them, but today I got it.
Mike, do you
This
see
is
the video
not
progressing?
honoring God.
A
Bacon,
second.
sausage felt like.
Excuse me?
Oh, sorry. I don't know if it's just me. I hear him, but the video is stuck. Is yours still moving?
Yes. How about
Okay.
everyone else?
He's stuck.
He's stuck now. Let's see.
I got slugged again. And right before I walked into the sanctuary,
Is he
Yeah,
moving
it's
now?
still stuck. I wonder if you rewind it a little bit, it'd fix it. He's frozen, but the audio is good.
years old, I've always seen the donuts, but that day they made me very
Still
upset
frozen.
because I'm going.
Well, let's see. Everyone
I'm not
else
a techie
having the
person
same
to know.
issue?
Does anybody not see it stuck?
No, it's stuck.
It's stuck
Okay.
for me too. It has been for a while.
Yeah, it's probably, yeah.
Okay, so I wonder what I can do here.
Oh, and I wish I could help, Mike. I'm not a techie person. It was going
Well,
just good.
I think maybe I stopped sharing.
Didn't we see this, you guys, last week? I thought we saw this.
Yeah, I think we're past the point, Nancy, of where we stopped last week. I think we're on to new stuff now.
Okay. Okay, because I remember seeing this and so I
Yeah,
wondered,
and
Mike.
we may have, I think Mike showed about 12 minutes, but I don't know exactly where he stopped.
Yeah, I showed the first, well, approximately 12 minutes. So let's see.
And to get
So is this better?
my soul fed. These people are trying to kill me. There is not one healthy
Yeah,
thing.
Mike, now we see
about donuts.
like
And this is a picture. It's the
your
actual
ChatGPT
picture I
screen.
Excuse me?
Now we see your ChatGPT screen.
Oh, wow. We don't want you to see that. So,
took that day of all the donuts for sale. And then right around.
We can hear him. We can hear the voice. We can hear Eamon's voice, just we can't see it. You gotta love the gremlins and that hide in technology, huh?
yeah.
We'll get it figured out.
On the corner is bacon and
So you can
sausage
probably hear it.
cooking on the grill. And when I saw the donuts, it's like someone slugged me. It's like,
Yeah, we hear him. We heard him, but we didn't see any video.
Okay, we're going to make this work.
Okie dokie.
Go.
Oh, no. My first time hosting, so I'm still learning about all these. Yeah.
Wow, let's see. Usually there's something up here that says share.
Have you seen it?
Okay, so let's see. Okay, do you see the full screen?
Yes.
I'd always seen them, but today I got it. This is not
Is that right now?
Yeah. Do you want to?
honoring God. Bacon sausage felt like I got slugged
That's
again.
good.
And right
It's
before I
good.
walked into the sanctuary, there
Yay.
were hundreds of hot dogs for after church. And I'm like, unbelievable. Because there's nothing healthy about hot dogs. And then as I sat down, the minister started talking about the ice cream festival they had the night before. And it's like my eyes were just open to how toxic this food culture is. And when my wife found me in church, I'm typing on my phone and she hates that. Like, she gave you the look that only your wife can give you. Why are you on that in church? Don't you know you're going to hell? And so I showed her what I was writing. Go to church, get donuts, bacon, hot dog, sausage, ice cream. They have no idea they're sending people to heaven early. Save them, then kill them. This is not the plan. And I prayed that Sunday in church, that God would use me to change the culture of food at church. You know, I sort of have an attitude problem. And as I'm praying that, I'm like, this is the dumbest prayer you ever prayed. How would that ever happen? I wasn't connected besides going to my own church. And I'm like, God, deal with it. Like, that's my prayer. Do with it what you will. No lie. It's exactly how it happened. 2 weeks later, I got a call from Pastor Rick Warren, the senior pastor at Saddleback Church, one of the largest churches in the world. Pastor Warren is the author of our generation's best-selling book, The Purpose-Driven Life, which has sold more than 50 million copies worldwide. When Rick called me, he said, I'm fat. My church is fat. Will you help me? He had seen me on public television and read my book, Healing ADD. And I'm like, Pastor Warren, you had me from hello. And together with my friend Mark Hyman, we created the Daniel Plan for Saddleback Church, a program to get the world healthy based on faith, food, fitness, focus, and friends. So very similar to the whole four. The first week, January 15th, 2011, 15,000 people signed up, and the results were just spectacular. After 12 months, the group lost 250,000 pounds, so £250,000. Pastor Warren was down 60 pounds. People reported better energy, focus, creativity, sleep, mood, reductions in stress, blood pressure, blood sugar, sexual dysfunction, always fun to talk about in church, and many medications. And we have so many stories. One of my favorite is I was debilitated by chronic pain, depression, and multiple medications. I followed the plan and reclaimed my life, ditching prescriptions, joining a triathlon team, and discovering deeper faith, friendships, and joy that I never thought possible. My cravings are gone. My complexion looks great. No pain in the morning. Odd to say in church, but my sex life is much better. That program, spectacular, but was really thought of as a season. And when I realized, no, you have to do this for the rest of your life. So as we go through the program, pick out the lessons, not to get in the dress for the wedding in the spring, but to keep you independent, alive, and healthy for the rest of your life. So of all the tiny habits I will give you, which ones can you keep? A little bit of your first bit of homework. So I want you to make a list of 5 of your closest friends. Are they helping or hurting your whole for health? Because we become like the people we surround ourselves with.
I'm going to pause it right there for a second. Any thoughts? Is it easy for you to write down a list of 5 people that help you in all 4 areas of your health?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's easy or hard?
Yes. Easy.
It's
Easy.
Oh, well, good. Yeah, well, to me, it's a struggle because a lot of the people that maybe help me with the spiritual part of my health, they're not aligned with what I would want to do from the physical part. Yeah, because we go to a small group at someone's house, or we have an event at church, and I'm saying no to certain food because it's not healthy for me. So that's a struggle for me. But anyway, that's a struggle. But it's something to think about. And I'm glad if you got that many people, if you got people that help you in all 4 areas. Okay, I'm gonna keep moving.
Breakthrough number 3. You are in a war for the health of your brain. You are in a war for the health of your mind. You are in a war for the health of your relationships, even your very soul. John 10:10. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. It is so important you recognize the war. Ephesians 5:13. Everything exposed by the light becomes visible. You're in a war. And everything that is illuminated becomes a light. Now you will know how to protect yourself. Everywhere you go, someone is trying to shove bad food down your throat that will kill you early. The real weapons of mass destruction are highly processed, pesticide sprayed, high glycemic, low fiber, food-like substances, artificially colored and sweetened, stored in plastic containers. Tech companies create addictive gadgets that hook our attention and distract us from our loved ones. Giving kids smartphones before the age of 13 dramatically increases mental health risks. Social media companies create addictive algorithms that separate us from each other and make us anxious and angry for profit. In the documentary, The Social Dilemma, it became very clear. If you don't pay for a product like social media, you are the product. It's addiction by design. For profit, they sell your attention to advertisers. And how do they get your attention? They make you anxious or angry because it keeps you on their platforms longer. News channels pour toxic images into our minds, making us see fear and disaster around every corner. And if you tend to lean left, they're going to make you lean further because that's the only content those stations will show you. If you tend to lean right, you're going to lean even more right because they're manipulating your mind. It is so important to see the truth of what's happening. Corporations spend big to steal your mind. You are not losing focus, you're being hacked. The battlefield is your attention, habits, children, future. Corporations spend billions to influence you, not to heal you, but to hook you or profit. They wire your brain for craving, scrolling, drinking, overeating, and needing more. Now, we are outspent, but we're not outsmarted. Not if we fight back with faith, neuroscience, smart programs, and public policy.
Comments, anyone?
That's all true. I know how social media, you can just doom scroll for hours.
Yeah. Well, and just think about Romans 12:2, the renewal of your mind. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed about the renewal of your mind. So that's something we need to learn how to, we need to understand what's coming from the world and not, and anyway, that's how are we being fed a story that's manipulating us for someone else's gain? Are we working on creating a story for ourselves that empowers us and makes us more healthy?
Breakthrough number 4. It's not mental health, it's brain health. I believe we're on the cusp of a radical paradigm shift away from mental illness toward brain health. In 1991, I asked this one question as a psychiatrist. Why are psychiatrists the only medical doctors who virtually never look at the organ they treat? And I knew it was wrong. I knew it would change. I just had no idea I'd be part of the change. And since then, at Amen Clinics, we use a study called brain SPECT imaging. It's a nuclear medicine study that looks at blood flow and activity. It looks at how your brain works. And it basically shows us 3 things: good activity, too little, or too much. And now, 35 years later, we've done almost 300,000 scans on patients from 155 countries. And what did we learn? The big discovery is most psychiatric illnesses are not primarily mental health issues at all. Rather, they are brain health issues that steal people's minds. And this one idea changes everything. Get your brain right, and your mind will follow. Your brain can have problems, just like your heart can have problems. Yet most people who see cardiologists have never had a heart attack. They're there to prevent them. If we are ever going to end mental illness and get ourselves out of this mind crisis we're in, we have to develop a similar way of thinking where we know the brain's risk factors and attack each one as soon as possible. Breakthrough number 5. To keep your brain healthy or rescue it if it's headed for trouble, we must prevent or treat the 11 major risk factors that damage the brain and steal your mind. If we're ever going to end this mental health crisis, we must know the brain's risk factors. So let's talk about it. So we created an acronym called Bright Minds. And throughout the program, I'm going to give you great detail on each of them. But let me just talk about them a little bit. So bright minds, B is for blood flow. Low blood flow, the number one brain imaging predictor of Alzheimer's disease. Now, you never get a scan. How do you know if you have low blood flow? You have high blood pressure. You're drinking a whole bunch of caffeine, nicotine. If you're sedentary, marijuana, alcohol, all lower blood flow. The R is retirement and aging. When you stop learning, your brain starts dying. Also, loneliness prematurely ages the brain. Brand new study. Loneliness in childhood actually increases your risk of dementia later in life. So being connected, absolutely critical for whole 4 health. The I in bright minds, the first I is inflammation. It's a universal risk factor for cancer and other physical illnesses, mental health problems as well. And how do you know if you have inflammation? We're going to talk about knowing your important health numbers because that's one of the health numbers. But if you eat a lot of fast or processed foods, if you eat a lot of sugar, it's pro-inflammatory. You have low levels of omega-3 fatty acids, or you have gum disease. One of the little tiny habits I'm going to give you is flossing. Flossing every night is loving your brain. The G in bright minds is genetics. People think about genetics wrong. Genes load the gut. It's your behavior, what happens to you that pulls the trigger. So genes are not a death sentence. They should be a wake-up call. So, for example, I have obesity and heart disease in my family, but I'm not overweight and I don't have heart disease. What? I'm on an obesity, heart disease prevention program every single day of my life. You need to know, and we're going to have exercises for you. What are your genetic vulnerabilities and what prevention program should you be on? Oh, by the way, this Bright Minds prevention program gets most of them. H is head trauma, a major cause of psychiatric problems that very few people know about, but mild traumatic brain injury is a major cause of mental, but also physical, relational, and spiritual health challenges. The T is toxicity, and the real reason not to use drugs, they damage your brain. Alcohol, marijuana, cocaine, methamphetamine. It's not just substances. It can be toxic products we put on our body. It could be mold in our environment. It can be high levels of mercury. Even things like general anesthesia can be toxic. The M is mental health issues and things like stress, anxiety, depression, trauma, also negativity bias, low hope, adverse childhood experiences, which we'll discuss. The second I is immunity and infections, just coming out of a worldwide pandemic. COVID, clearly not good for your brain, but other infections like Lyme or herpes, Epstein-Barr. It's important to know and make sure your best defense against these infectious diseases is your immune system. We'll talk about vitamin D, and it's a critical, important number to know. The N is neurohormones. When your thyroid or testosterone or insulin or cortisol off, you're never going to be as good as you can be. Abnormal hormone levels affect the whole 4. The D is diabetes, which is a combination of high blood sugar and or being overweight. Both of those damage the brain. And if they damage the brain, they damage your decision making because, as you know, or you should know, brain is involved in everything you do, how you think, how you feel, how you act, how you get along with other people. And when it works right, you work right. Your doctor's diagnosed you with pre-diabetes. You want to take that extremely seriously because that will accelerate virtually all of the other risk factors. And then S is sleep. It is so important to make sleep a priority, and things like insomnia or sleep apnea significantly increase your risk of things like Alzheimer's disease. In the program, we're going to talk about knowing your important numbers, because you can't change what you don't measure. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but in our participant guide and small group materials, we go over each of these, because I believe it's critical to always know your important numbers. So, for example, blood flow, blood pressure. You should have your blood pressure taken 3 or 4 times a year. High blood pressure, low blood flow to your brain. It's not a good thing. Certain blood tests, like a complete blood count, CBC, to make sure you're not anemic. A lipid panel to know your cholesterol. And yes, high cholesterol can be a problem, but most people don't know low cholesterol can also be a problem. Also, the number of hours you exercise a week. Retirement and aging, albumin, which is measure of protein, and your ferritin or iron level. Because low, you're going to be anxious, you can't sleep. And when it's high, it promotes aging. Inflammation, a blood test called C-reactive protein, another one called homocysteine, and your omega-3 index. So we give you all of these, but I think it is absolutely critical early in this program is know your important health numbers, talk to your doctor, or we'll actually give you another way to get these and put them in the journals we're going to have for you. The big idea, you want to keep your brain healthy or rescue it, you have to prevent or treat the 11 major risk factors. And we also have strategies for each of these in the foundational program, which is the first 6 lessons. We'll talk about these a bit. In the mastery program, so after the first 6 lessons, we then have a 12-lesson program for you. Each week is going to be around one of these risk factors. So just critical. So for example, is for blood flow, exercise, managing your blood pressure, and foods. We're going to talk so much about food. Beets and cacao, yes, the main ingredient in chocolate, can boost blood flow. Retirement and aging, new learning. And weight training, right? Strength training. Because the stronger you are as you age, the less likely you are to get Alzheimer's disease. Inflammation, kill most of the processed foods, omega-3 fatty acids, curcumins, floss. For sleep, make it a priority. So we're going to have interventions for you for all of these. Breakthrough number 6. You are not stuck with the brain you have. Love this so much. You can make it better, and I can prove it. Your brain's involved in everything you do. How you think, how you feel, how you act, how you get along with other people. Your brain is the organ of judgment, personality, intelligence, and every decision you make. And when your brain works right, you work right. And when your brain is troubled, for whatever reason, you are much more likely to have trouble in your life. With a healthy brain, people are happier, they're healthier, they're wealthier, they're more successful because they make better decisions. When your brain is not healthy, for whatever reason, people are sadder, sicker, poorer, less successful because their decisions aren't as good. Your competitive advantage in life or your disadvantage is the physical functioning of your brain. Warren Buffett has rules on investing. So Warren Buffett, probably the most famous investor of our lifetime, said rule number one, never lose money. Rule number two, never forget rule number one. And so I thought, well, what rules would I have for brain health? Rule number one, never lose brain cells. Rule number two, never forget. Rule number one, your brain in certain areas continues to make new neurons throughout your life, but you don't want to make it harder on yourself. In 2007, I had an NFL player come to see me, a former NFL player, because he had problems with memory, his temper, and was having periods of confusion. Now, I loved football growing up. I played football in high school. But when I started looking at the brain, I began to not like it as much because it's clearly a brain damaging sport. And my player, his brain looked terrible, but a couple months later looked way better. And so we wrote to the NFL offices and we said, someone should do a brain imaging study on players. Now, they never wrote us back. The NFL actually formed its concussion committee in 1994. Yet they never sponsored a brain imaging study on players. Instead, I'm not kidding when I say this, they studied rats. They put little tiny helmets on rats, whacked them in the head, put them in dryers, threw them down laundry chutes, sacrificed them. And 2009, in front of Congress, Roger Goodell, the commissioner, said the NFL didn't know if playing football caused long-term brain damage.
Mike, are you looking for the video? Because we can't see it.
The issue.
Yeah.
And Maxine
Okay.
Waters, the congresswoman from Los Angeles, sort of metaphorically whacks him and
You can see each other.
Mm-hmm. No video though.
No, get back.
says, commissioner, having you act like you're studying traumatic brain injury in football is a conflict of interest. It's sort of like
I bet you still can't see it.
No.
I think I'm converging on what we should be seeing.
the tobacco company
Now we good?
Yes.
saying they're studying lung cancer. But the problem with the NFL's position, and I know this as a psychiatrist, if you don't admit you have a problem, you can't do anything to solve it. Brain damaged players were left without help or hope. They were killing themselves in the NFL way of killing yourself, which is you don't shoot yourself in the head, you shoot yourself in the chest so you can donate your brain to science. Well, my player, Anthony Davis, brought me to speak to the NFL Players Association, to the chapter in Los Angeles. And some players I had idolized as a boy were there who clearly had dementia. And in my mind, I'm like, someone's got to do a brain imaging study. And if you grow up Roman Catholic, like I grew up, and you go, someone should do this, you always see these three fingers pointing back at yourself. And so in 2009, Amen Clinics partnered with the NFL Players Association and did the first and largest study on active and retired NFL players. Imaging changed everything. In 2011, we published our first study on 100 active and former NFL players showing high levels of damage. Now, that didn't surprise me, right? Your brain is soft about the consistency of soft butter. Your skull is really hard and has sharp, bony ridges. Repetitive blows with big, fast, strong people, it's going to cause damage, right? This doesn't take a lot. But the question I have is, can I take their damaged brains and make them better? Because that's how I've spent my whole career ever since I started imaging, is can I make your brain better? And what we did is we put them on super special multiple vitamin, high dose, high quality omega-3 fatty acid, and a brain boost that works in 6 different ways. And then we told them, probably shouldn't be drinking. You're overweight. Let's help you lose some weight. Marijuana is not innocuous. And 80% of our players got better. 80% of our brain damaged players got better. What does that mean? You are not stuck with the brain you have, even if you've been bad to it. How exciting is that? Anthony Davis is the player I've been referring to. He's the College Football Hall of Fame running back from the University of Southern California. He's called the Notre Dame Killer because in 1972, he scored 6 touchdowns against the University of Notre Dame. They hated him so much, they actually put his picture on the walkway on the Notre Dame campus so that they could walk on him. And in 1974, he scored 4 more touchdowns against them. So he had 10 touchdowns against the University of Notre Dame. And here you can see his brain really damaged on the left. And 10 years later, this is not what happens to brains 10 years later. It's significantly better. So you can have a better brain and you can keep it better if you do the right things. Breakthrough number 7. You have to tell your brain what you want. Your brain is incredibly powerful. The Daniel plan came out of prayer and intention. God helped me change the culture of food at church. I prayed after I saw the war for your health at church. Proverbs 16:3. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. I do this exercise with all of my patients. It's called the one-page miracle. So it's an intention training exercise. Write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. Habakkuk 2, verse 2. The world will ask who you are. And if you don't know, the world will tell you. Carl Jung. So the one-page miracle on one piece of paper, and we'll have it for you in the participant guide and the journal. And we want you to talk about it in small groups. Is what do I want? And is my behavior getting me what I want? And the little tiny habit is, does it fit? What do I want in my relationship or with my partner, with my children, with my family, with my coworkers? What do I want? For example, with my wife, I want a kind, caring, loving, supportive, passionate relationship. Always want it. Don't always feel like that. Rude thoughts show up. But when I'm focused on what I want, kind, caring, loving, supportive, passionate relationship, I don't say every stupid thing I think. We're going to talk about thoughts and how they come from all sorts of places, and many of them, in fact, aren't yours. What do you want at work? What do you want for your money? What do you want for yourself? Your physical, emotional, spiritual self. I'll just give you an example from some of mine. This will be in the participant guide. So I told you what I want with my wife or my children. I want to be present, loving, firm, and encourage independence and strength. And always think of these two words, firm and kind. You will not make a mistake as a parent. You always filter whatever you do through firm and kind. For money, I'm a value spender. I want to spend wisely, create value for my family and for the people we serve. Physically, I want to be strong, energetic, and independent. I have 6 children and I love all 6 of them, but I never want to have to live with any of them, right? I don't want to stress them, but independence is important to me. And spiritually, I want to prayerfully stay close to God in gratitude and purpose. So every action, every thought, it just gets filtered through, does it fit? And that's a tiny habit. And tiny habits are actually how people change. For 6 months, I worked with BJ Fogg and his sister, Linda. And Dr. Fogg is a professor at Stanford in charge of the persuasive technology lab. And he said, how do people change? Well, one, it could be an epiphany. When I saw my brain, we'll talk about that in subsequent sessions. It's like, oh no, that has to be healthy. That was an epiphany. They change their relationships, which is why I want you to write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. And are they helping or hurting your whole 4 health? They change with an epiphany, changing their relationships. Or the most effective way, Dr. Fogg says, people change is through tiny habits. What are the smallest things people can do that will make the biggest difference? And we have dozens of tiny habits for you. And I love, does it fit? Right? It takes like 3 seconds. Does it fit? But first, you have to know what you want. Throughout this program, you are never going to fail. This is so important. I teach all of my patients, be curious, not furious. That when you have a bad day, we're going to turn it into good data. That every day you win or you learn. There is no failure. I show this graph for all of my patients. When people come to see me as a psychiatrist or as a physician, they have good days and bad days. Mostly they're not great. And then we intervene and they get better. I love that so much. And I've been doing this a long time. If you do the program, you are going to be dramatically better. But nobody just gets better. They're better and then not so much. Better and not so much. Better, not so much. After 6 weeks, they're going to have good days and bad days, but they're not going to be anything like what we started. And after 18 weeks, if you do both programs, you're going to notice a dramatic difference in your brain and your body, in your mind, in your relationships. Yes, even your soul. And that's a little tiny habit win or learn. Whenever you come up against a struggle, you win or you learn. It's public knowledge. Julius Randle is one of my patients. He did our podcast. I do a podcast with my wife, Change Your Brain, every day. And Julius, 3-time NBA All-Star. He's a superstar. He came to see me because he was not doing well. He's depressed and smoking marijuana and having relationship problems and was struggling on the court. And one of the most effective things he and I did together is, one, he learned to love his brain, stop doing things that hurt it. But rather than feeling like a failure when he didn't do well, it's like, I'm learning today, doc. And that was so important. It's the mindset of a winner. It's the mindset of people who are successful. They fail like everybody else, but they don't think of it that way. They think of it as an opportunity to learn and do better. So, tiny habit number 2, win or learn. So let's bring these 4 circles together. The 4 circles really not separate, but deeply interconnected. When one circle suffers, the others do too. When one gets better, the others tend to follow. That's why this program works. It doesn't just treat symptoms. We go after root causes. Now, don't do this alone. Bring someone with you. People who do this program with a partner double their success, however they define it. And this is not just a new plan. It's a new way to live. The tiny habits we've talked about so far, does it fit, win, or learn? We have so many successes with this program. And just sharing a couple of them, sleep is so much better. Tons of positive energy. And my mindset is completely positive in spite of negative trials and tribulations. And the ants, automatic negative thoughts, are moving on out. I love that so much. Sugar and caffeine do not make me feel better. When I'm stressed and tired, they make me feel worse. Win or learn. Trying to be more conscious of everything I'm doing, thinking, and eating, it all matters. My stress levels have declined, which is amazing and fantastic to me. I see the calm in myself, which I have not seen in several years. So, next steps. Do your own 1-page miracle. We have an amazing Amen Whole 4 brain health assessment. It'll take you 20 or 30 minutes to do, but the information you're going to get will be transformative. Plus, we're going to have you take it now, and then we're going to have you take it in 6 weeks. And if you take the mastery course, I'll have you take it in 18 weeks. I want you to help us study the effectiveness of this program. I want you to start gathering your important health numbers. We'll have information for you in the program materials. Grab a partner or join or start a small group. We have a resource guide for you. Bring someone with you next session. And every session, we are going to close in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for every person here. You know their battles, their wounds, and their potential. Give them courage to say yes to healing, to change, to becoming who you created them to be. Renew their brains for clear thinking, strengthen their bodies for service, restore their minds with peace, revive their relationships with love, and awaken their souls with purpose. May this be a true new beginning, glorifying you, and leading to a full life Jesus came to give. Amen. Bless you.
Hey, see if I can stop sharing. Oh, there, I can stop. Okay. Comments? Jennifer?
Yeah, Mike, I actually have a question for you or anybody else about the tiny habits we learned today of the 3-second rule and the 30-second rule. So, in the 3-second rule, that's a quick, is whatever am I doing fit, or my behaviors fit with what I put in my one-page miracle? Can you explain the 30-second rule better?
Well, I think the 3 seconds, the 3 seconds rules is you recognize something's wrong. That something's not, that it's like, what's wrong with this picture? Why isn't this working? It's like you're just asking yourself a quick question. Then 30 seconds is what can I do about it? Just
Okay. And you
that,
said too, like, am I winning or learning in that 30 seconds?
yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, you guys, I would just love to know from you guys still on here what resonated with you, what stood out, what just your general thoughts. Tabitha, that's funny. I just see from your nose up. Who would like to volunteer?
One of the things,
Go ahead, Adelie.
one of the things that I really like is the that he uses scripture along with the lessons, and along with the breakthroughs. It's really relatable, thought provoking, and meaningful.
Yeah, I like that too. You know, it's like somewhere in the emails Mike sent out originally about this, talking about there's like not a program, health program out there that adds the spiritual component, you know, and I'm a Christian and it's very important to me. And I really love the whole idea of taking care of my health is honoring God is an act of worship, you know? So that makes me really think twice about, okay, do I want to have that Coca-Cola? You know? So, yeah, I agree with you. What about you guys, Tabitha, Nancy?
I'm sorry, Jennifer, what'd you say?
Oh, I just want to know your thoughts. Anything stand out for
I
you,
well, I've
resonate?
seen this before because I studied, so a lot of this I knew. The one thing I had to step out because I'm cooking, but when he mentioned the 5 people you hang around with, can somebody refresh my memory on that?
Yeah, he
What?
basically just said that whoever you hang around with is going to influence you, negative or positive. Like, you know, an obvious example, you wouldn't want to hang out with people that are drug users. That's not a
Or
good kind
negative,
of
yeah.
person.
Did it have
Yeah.
something to do with the 4 circles? That's why I was like,
Yeah, that was just in the social circle, you know, the relationships.
oh, okay. Yeah. So we're talking, oh, that was part of the social circle. Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody had said, I don't know if it was Zig Ziglar, but you become like the 5 people you hang around. And that really
Yes.
Right.
scared me, and I had to get rid of a few friends.
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
thought, oh man, they are bringing me down. And so I think I'm a little light on friends, honestly. I wrote them down. I said, gee, I don't see them enough. So yeah, as we get
Yeah,
older, sometimes it
that was
gets a
a good
little,
reminder for me too. And I know as I've gotten older, as I'm in my 50s, that my circle is smaller. The people
yeah,
I
so is mine. Yeah.
yeah. And
It
I
used
don't
to,
really have, a, a negative person in my life as a sibling, and but everybody else is good for me in my life. But that wasn't always the case, and I
yeah,
think it really.
I learned that. Yeah, I have four siblings and thank God we're all pretty good. But
Mhm.
some friends, I just had to get rid of them and that was good. I just find like, oh, the circle is smaller and I'm volunteering at church and
Mhm.
it can be harder when, people are busy and stuff. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah.
So true. You
Well,
guys.
I suspect we need a filter because there's an exercise called friends versus accomplices,
Mhm.
and you identify who are the people that help you
Mm,
in these different areas where it's physical health, spiritual health, mental,
mhm.
uh, uh, uh oh boy, I guess I didn't get enough sleep last
Psychological,
night.
biological,
Psychological,
psychological. Yeah.
social, and
That, yeah. I was getting a little confused because I thought, do they mean five friends in all those four circles or just the one circle? I think that'd be
Yeah.
hard. It's
Yeah,
just the
Nancy,
one.
I thought that same thing. And for me, I just overall thought of five friends because I don't have five friends in each of those circles. I just thought of the people I talk to most in my life. And for me,
Yeah.
at a point in my life, they're good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think however you want to think of it.
Okay.
yeah, well, yeah, for myself, the friends who help me, and I have to think about friends. I have to compartmentalize the different
Uh-huh.
four circles because, like, some people they'll help me with spiritually and maybe psychologically, but not health wise, um, or vice versa. Like, I love my wife's family. We go to Virginia to visit them, and she's got three brothers and two sisters and a bunch of nieces and nephews, and we all go to Chili's together. And I stick out because the food I'm eating. Yeah, it's like you ever have anyone say, "Oh, you're eating healthy?" Like that's an odd thing to do. So that, that's just something we've got to be prepared for. Um, but anyway, it's kind of good to know who you are, why you are, what you stand for, when you come to those situations. Um, yeah, that's one example that I have. And I think a lot of my friends, I have
Mhm.
decided certain
Yeah, Mike,
influencers.
that's the same
Go, go ahead.
way with about. I have a dear coworker. She's become a dear friend. I've never known a person like her that walks her Christian walk every day. And she's such a mentor and example to me. And we can talk about God and Jesus Christ all the time. Well, she's in my spiritual circle. She uplifts me, but I don't have that kind of relationship with my sister, my oldest sister. We're real close, but we don't talk about God stuff very much. So, yeah, but my sister fills other needs for me. So that's probably the case with everybody.
Oh.
Well, that's cool, you guys. I'm glad y'all got something out of it. I just can never get enough of listening to Dr. Amen. I just love him and I love how simply he presents the information because I have ADD. And if it's the simpler it is and things are in bullet point, I really learn better that way and it absorbs. And I just love his style. I learn from him so well. So overall, I like that. And you guys, y'all probably saw in the portal, there's like a summary. If I don't know what it's called exactly, but there's a summary of the session. I printed it out for myself. It's called Session 1, Getting Healthy is Worship. And I guess you can consider that a little bit of homework because there's some questions in that there to answer. And there's the section of filling out your friends and a little bit on the bright minds, just to get us kind of early start thinking about things. And have y'all done your brain health assessment yet?
I did.
Okay, cool. I did too. That was real interesting, the result. And okay, cool. And then I know, like Mike had suggested, within a couple days, definitely before next week, we go in and do the journal, the other assessments that they want us to do in there, Do you have anything else to add, Mike?
Well, I encourage everyone. So if you're having any issues with getting into the portal or if any of the materials, don't hesitate to reach out. The other thing is really that one-page miracle. It is that's something that's huge. And yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'd say get started with it and try to get a first draft of it by a week from now. And I have I have a AI tool that can help with it, but you got to start. So, but like for me, it may be hard for me to organize stuff. So I'll just write everything that I can think about and I throw it in the AI and it helps me think through things. So that's something that I'm willing to offer.
You guys, Adelaide and Nancy, y'all both came to us. Y'all both know Katie, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm asking because when I was her active client and she did the one-page miracle with me, she has her own PDF file of it. And the one in the participant guide is just a one-page thing. I really liked hers. It was a bit more detail. And I still have it. I could send to you. I don't know if she'd be okay with that. She probably would, but
I
alternatively,
think so.
you could email her if you wanted it. Cause yeah, it was just a little bit, we spent a whole session on it. It was a little bit more detailed. If y'all want, I'll email it to both of y'all.
Yes, please. And I saw somebody else, Alan Geddes, I think,
Yes, please.
said yes.
Okay. Would you guys real quick, I'm going to take a picture of it. Will you just put in the chat your email? I know I have it. I just want to be for sure. And Mike, I'll copy it on you too if you want.
Sure. Dan, don't be intimidated. There was so much stuff he covered in this hour, but it's going to be well, he gave us the whole elephant in one video. We'll be breaking it out in smaller bites going forward, but it's kind of an overview.
Mm-hmm. I think, Mike, though, it really helped, like you suggested last week. I read through all the slides before today. So I like that, read him first, then I saw him because I learned with auditory and visual learner, so okay, you guys, and one more picture. Hold on, get everybody. Cool. Does anybody else have anything they want to share? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, it was breaking up. Who was talking? Do y'all hear anything? It sounds broken on my end. Was somebody trying to say something? I'm not sure.
Well, I heard something in the background from someone, but
yeah, maybe it was just background noise. Okay. Well, if y'all are, Mike, do you, I feel like that's a good stopping place. If that's okay with you guys, is there anything else you wanted to cover or mention?
Well, I encourage you all to start, engaging in the BGG Facebook group.
Yeah, good
and
point.
just bring things up, encourage whatever, any kind of inspirational stuff. Um, and I'm gonna start posting some stuff in there. Um, I there's putting this together. There's a lot of moving parts with setting up calendar invites and emails, blasts, and the Facebook. And I think the Facebook, it's kind of a good central hub for me
Yeah,
at least. So
yeah, I
uh,
agree. Okay, agree.
Oh,
Okay,
I have a question. If anybody, I posted this in Facebook. I work with special needs, and um, that's a different population, let me tell you, because they don't always read or write. And somebody had said, I was looking for visuals for anxiety and healthier eating, and somebody said, go to the dragons. And then I thought, oh my God, where did I see that? Does somebody remember? Was that overcoming grief and trauma? Or is this some, I already posted this on Facebook, so I thought, well, since I have a captive audience, maybe you guys would know.
I
Does any,
think I wonder if that's related to the ants.
yeah, is it healing ADD? I just have to sift through it, but I thought,
mhm.
oh, where is that?
Yeah, Nancy, I don't know where it is either because he does
Okay,
have that. Dr. Amon's
I'll look for it. That's okay. I just thought in case somebody
dragon.
ran across that recently, it would just save me some time.
I'm sure
Um,
it's going to be upcoming somewhere, but I
yeah, I'll
remember
find
that
it.
from working with Katie.
What's that, Jennifer?
I remember the dragons working with
Oh, it's
Katie.
good, and the visual is really good. I
Yeah,
think it might be in overcoming grief and trauma or something.
yeah.
So,
I'm sure we're going to have it upcoming
okay,
pretty
I'll figure it
soon.
out. All right. I love the
Nancy,
drag.
did you take the brain health coaching, Nancy?
Yeah. What do you mean the brain health? I thought we were all brain health coaches. What?
Oh,
What?
okay. Well, I didn't know if we all were or not.
Oh yeah,
But
I'm
I
a brain
think it's
health
in our
coach.
portal. It's in our, I
It
believe it
is.
might be in
There's
our
so much
resource.
information. I just don't know where to find it. There's so
Okay.
much. There's
If, yeah, if I happen on it, I'll, because I can't off the top of my head remember
That's
where it is,
okay.
but I
That's okay.
remember
Aren't
seeing
we
it.
all brain health coaches from the class, from the course? Like I knew my
Yeah,
boss.
Nancy,
I wasn't sure.
Nancy, I'm not. I'm just one of
That's
Katie's
what I thought.
clients since 2023.
Oh,
And she
okay.
introduced me to Dr. Amen, and I got so passionate about him. And
Yeah.
she knows, how important faith is in my life. And she just thought pairing me and Mike together would be great. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not. Mike is a definite Dr. Amen certified brain health coach, but I know a lot about him from everything I learned being
Oh, so
Katie's
am I. I went
client.
through the same course with Mike. I just assumed we were all brain coaches because I thought,
Yeah.
don't you have to be certified in order to be a facilitator for this? I guess
No, you
not.
don't. You don't. You don't
Okay.
actually. And it's just great
Oh,
with Mike that he has all of that background, which is awesome. And so his role as ambassador, mine is the facilitator. That's what Eamon Hall 4
but I
calls
mean, when we go out there and do the classes or facilitate, we don't have to be certified through Dr. Amen. I thought we did. I mean, I
Yeah,
am.
I don't think so. I don't
Oh,
think
that's
so.
interesting. Okay, I just new
I,
information.
yeah, I think it's more about because you're presenting Eamon's work right here in this facilitation. We're not being asked to coach or work one
Correct.
on one, and so that's the distinction between what that certification
Correct. Yeah,
was.
I got
Or
that. I still
yeah,
didn't know.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's there.
And I know
And
you
my
have to.
background's a little even more different is even different from all of yours since I've
Oh,
been
that's, I just assumed it because I thought, because, okay, that
so I've
makes
been a
sense.
resource for Katie, and we were in a group before she even got certified. And so, and because I got 3 generations of Alzheimer's in our family, so we've got
Oh,
a
wow.
history that spans that length of time. Before
Uh-huh.
Bredesen came out with his work, before Loma Linda, before even before Amon was coming out with his stuff on PBS, even or even out there,
Oh,
we were
that's
already.
interesting
My
how we all,
family was working. Yeah, I was in contact with a lot of these researchers before they'd even published, and so my journey has begun that way. Um,
interesting how we all came together.
yeah. So
I didn't know. I just knew Mike. All
yeah.
right.
And if
Well,
I were going to add a little tidbit from my direction, one of that's a little distinction from Amon's and the whole brain wellness community, because I deal with the sleep apnea that runs in the family as well. And I changed its name. I changed the name of sleep apnea because for me, the distinction is that it's not breathing during evening is what it is. So I call it nocturnal not breathing. And suddenly that wakes up every person that I've been a medical advocate for. They suddenly go, oh, wait a minute, not breathing. Wait, that's really bad. Yes. And suddenly that has a reality check. It's not about sleep, and that's sort of a soft, approach. But when you say nocturnal not breathing, boom, makes total sense. So I'm redefining that for a lot of the people that I work with and family members and so forth, and it's made a huge difference. Takes it seriously. Yeah. Anyway, that's my little 2 cents.
Yeah, thanks for letting us know. I'm glad to know a little bit about each of y'all more, and I know that'll continue as we go along.
Yeah, no, sleep apnea. I did a sleep study, and I have a mild amount of it. They call it fragmented sleep, I think is one of the things. But yeah, you stop breathing. So anyway, I think it's very likely my 12 weeks I'm going to be working on things to help with my sleep. There's a lot of little things you can do. There's not very many like big silver bullets to it. So yeah. And sleep is huge. Sleep is one of the biggest things you can do for your health overall. So
Yes, true.
but yeah,
Okay.
the dragons, Tame the Dragons from the Past are in the Elite Brain Health Coaching Guidebook.
Oh, okay. So I'll just have to go back on my portal. And thank you. Well, okay, the
Thank you,
guidebook.
Mike.
I think it's a couple of places, but
Yeah.
and speaking of sleep, as I order the Brain MD, his restful sleep, I'm telling you that supplement I take every night, I've never slept so well in my life.
What is it?
It's Brain MD. It's Eamon's supplement line. It's purple. I think it's called Rest something, and it's got a little melatonin, but I think it's the GABA and the valerian and L-theanine or something. But oh my God, it's really good. You get really deep sleep, 1 or 2. I take it every night, and it really helps. It's worked better than the other brands I've tried. So
Oh, thanks for
it's
that. Thanks for that
purple.
recommendation.
Yeah, it's really good.
Awesome. Well, cool. If y'all are good, I think we'll wrap up and I'll end us in prayer. How does that sound? Bye,
Thank
Alan.
you.
Okay. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this gathering of beautiful people today. And I know Mike and I are excited to get to know everybody as we go along this journey together. And I am so thankful and grateful that Dr. Amen, you're using him as a vessel to spread your love and his knowledge about how to get healthy and optimize our health in all the 4 circles. So I'm just grateful for the journey and the fellowship and community we have on this journey together. And I ask that you provide us clarity and wisdom and strength and focus as we go along this journey, and that we will give ourselves grace when we don't make massive improvements. It's all about tiny habits, and that we give ourselves grace just like you do every day. So we look forward to seeing everybody next week. And as always, we pray this in your